Bon appetit, vultures. The vultures disguised as carers. These are opportunists with some kind of Florence Nightingale fetish, They can smell inheritance from a mile away, like truffle pigs. No disrespect to pigs. They're probably obsessing and poring over their Excel sheets titled assets _ updated _ final. Oh dear me. Now the scapegoat's victory. Your soul is priceless and you know it. No amount of money can buy your soul, which is still intact. And these people, they will never, ever have the gumption to take on that task. They don't know its value. They're still betting on Candyland in a burning casino. Hi there, welcome back. If this is your first time here, my name is Suli. Well, a little bit of my sense of humor seems to have returned. I'm going to grab this win because when you can laugh at the absurdity of it all, at your trauma, you know you're getting somewhere. Now, this is no disrespect to people who can't do that yet, but don't worry, you will. One day you will. This is some sort of a criminal profiling for dysfunctional families. And I want to start with the covert narcissist because they are at the top of this pyramid scheme. They are the cult leader. So the covert narcissist, as opposed to the overt type, master of emotional pickpocketing, disguised as a wounded rabbit. They're experts at faking fragility, martyrdom, and subtle tyranny. Oh, don't worry about me. Here, let me serve you tea with my broken arms. You know you're not going to allow that, so they get away with talking nonsense like that, to make their point that they will still serve you even when they're sick. They at their own expense, they want everyone else to be happy. Bullshit. They collect victim points like a kid eager for Pokemon cards. And they believe that empathy is for the tapeworms of this world, the slime of the gutters. And your victory, you finally figured them out, and their crocodile tears, which you used to fall for and felt so sad for, can no longer even drown a bug on your countertop. The overt narcissist, a peacock with a megaphone and the emotional depth of a saucer, prone to tantrums like a kid in a sugar crash. These overt narcissists, they brag about their high IQ, they brag about their bank accounts and their generosity, which is transactional, because the moment you stop playing their game, the gifts mysteriously vanish, And the thing is that they truly believe that you will go through some kind of a gift withdrawal symptom, that you'll suffer from it, like a drug addict who would come crawling back begging for more. And so you see the gifts channeling towards someone else. Their attention, their affections are now transferred to somebody else. Abuse equals gifts. No thanks. The scapegoat's victory in this, while their empire is built on toothpicks, yours is built on a solid foundation of the strength of your character, your humanity, and your convictions. The golden child. A human trophy, sad as it may sound, but a human trophy nevertheless, with a PhD in performative perfection, smiles like a Stepford wife and obeys like a wind-up doll, and dies a little every time they see someone who's not scared of being authentic. This is sad, but we got to drop that sadness. Why? Because they are terrified of being the scapegoat, and they will do anything to maintain their position as the narc's mini-me, the safest position in this dysfunctional family. They will do anything to keep you in your place. As they saw what happened to the scapegoat, they may, now this is with a big M, they may have shown glimpses of compassion, for their scapegoat sibling, but it was quite easily buried by the lack of courage to reject that system. And what little courage there was, what little compassion there was just buried in a grave of cowardice. Your sadness isn't for the sibling that they are. Your sadness was for the sibling they almost became. And that was what kept you stuck. That was what kept you trapped. Hope. But as they grew up, they learned how the system works and they chose to be complicit. They chose to keep you, the scapegoat, in your place so they don't become the scapegoat. No sadness here. The scapegoat's victory, while they're playing heir to a dumpster fire, you're out there reinventing your life 2.0. The flying monkey. These sentient puppets with the critical thinking of a pebble are just the pawns of the narcissist. They quote from their cult leader like good little children in a Nazi camp. And these dumb as rocks douchebags, either knowingly or unknowingly, in which case they're even dumber than rocks, they unknowingly or knowingly do the bidding for the narcissist, sending message to and from the narcissist. They pelt you with messages like, they love you so much, you're so lucky. Don't you think you're being a bit ungrateful? Or they'll say something like, to dig information from you. They'll say something like, they're so sad that you're not visiting. Well, if they're sad, then why didn't they ask you directly? Why didn't they ask you why you're not visiting? And why are they sad? All they did was belittle you. I know. It's because there's no one to belittle. They're all looking around, looking at each other, wondering who the next scapegoat is going to be. In the meantime, they have to stuff all their trash, all their rubbish into their pockets, into their ear holes, into their nostrils until they implode. But that's not likely to happen because they'll soon find one to replace you. Hell is easy. Replacing you, the scapegoat, is as easy as going to IKEA for a new trash can. Now, the scapegoat's victory, you muted them with a simple emoji to all their long-winded text messages, fake asking you, oh, how are you doing? Guilt-tripping you, and maybe passing some messages from the narcissist and hoping that you'll take the bait, but you muted them with minimal effort. The enablers. Now, these are professional rug sweepers with a side hustle as moral contortionists. Twisting and turning everything to suit the narcissist, to enable the narcissist, and say things like, oh, that's just how they are, what, can't you forgive them? You're really making a mountain out of a molehill, and, it's not as bad as you say. Or, worse still, that never happened. And that's where you start to think you're crazy. And all this happened before you were 5 years old. What chance do you have? The best response you will get from them, the very best response, is a glimmer of compassion. Like, oh my God, how could that happen? How could it happen to you? I'm shocked. I am outraged and so angry. That's terrible. Anyway, I was in Costco this morning. Hey, I got this. What do you think? Now the scapegoat's victory. You have let them go, and they are stuck with massaging the narcissist's ego, prancing around them with no backup dancer because you're gone. The vultures disguised as carers. These are opportunists with some kind of Florence Nightingale fetish, They can smell inheritance from a mile away, like truffle pigs. No disrespect to pigs. They're probably obsessing and poring over their Excel sheets titled assets _updated_final. Oh dear me. Now the scapegoat's victory. Your soul is priceless and you know it. No amount of money can buy your soul, which is still intact. Okay? Meanwhile, this spoon-feeding grandpa, literally and metaphorically, while bitching behind his back. Bon appetit, vultures. Now, the beauty of all this is that the scapegoat wins by default. They never tried hard to be the best bootlicker, to look over their shoulder as to who's catching up and trying their best day in, day out, trying to wipe out the competition. The work that scapegoats do is internal. It's an internal evolution that is priceless. And these people, they will never, ever have the gumption to take on that task. They don't know its value. They're still betting on Candyland in a burning casino.